Here we are once again at SD Racing. We're just hanging out one-on-one with Fonnie Davis, someone who we understand to be a rising star in the King of the Deep series. Again, we're just hanging out. It's at the end of the day. We've had race preparations going on. Getting ready for this next race coming up, next King of the Deep series points race in Talladega, Alabama, coming up this weekend. So a little bit more work to do, but we're getting really close. Trying a couple new things. We're a fairly new team, so still trying to get everything figured out. We're a little bit innovative, so we try to think out of the box, throwing some new stuff at it, building some new pieces. Again, we're here with Fonnie Davis, a rising star. That's the way we see it. Fonnie, I don't know, we're just hanging out, having a conversation, but something that just came to mind. I've known you your whole life. You've never really been one to have a desire to compete back in the day. You're a really good shooter. There's been people approaching you, wanting you to compete with your shooting skills and this and that, and you just never have been someone to want to be in the spotlight and that kind of thing. So it's just a question that just popped in my mind, which I have thought about it from time to time, but what changed? What happened?
Well, to be honest, I can't really think of anything specifically that changed, or I guess I never realized that I was very competitive till I guess Peyton was talking smack to me. And then I was like, oh nah, I gotta show her up. So that's pretty much the only thing I could say that sparked the change, if you will. And then when I started getting into it, I guess I just realized that I liked it a bit more than I thought I would. So.
Cool. Well, you've done really well so far. All of us have high expectations. Very rapidly, actually, almost instantly. It was fairly, to say it was surprising is really an understatement. Being that said, with the skill, the ability, talent that you've shown, and just sheer aggressiveness, willing to be on the edge, that kind of thing, which is really what it takes to win these King of the Deep events. I think you entered into the class, entered into the racing events, the series, in a fairly new class. You entered into the women's class. And as I've mentioned before, I believe, just based on observation, your entry into that, the way you approach the sport, the way, just your aggressiveness, your style, it really raised the bar for everybody. It was kind of like one of those old crap moments. I could just imagine being in if I was inside the minds of the women you compete against, it was probably like, oh snap, I'm going to have to go all out or I have no chance. So anyway, with all that said, I know I'm just kind of rambling on, but there's been talk about moving you to the next level so far as equipment is concerned. And right here in the background is an example of that. The bike that we affectionately call Has Been. It's a 975. It's nitrous capable. It's on methanol. Pretty stout bike. Pretty well known. So I know this. We've had these conversations. You've done some testing, and it's looking like that's the direction that we're leaning toward. So with that in mind, how do you process that in your own thoughts? Is it going to change how you approach what you're doing? How do you feel about your chances with more bike underneath you and that kind of thing?
Well, my thought process is kind of just whatever's thrown at me, I'm going to do it and see what the results are. That's kind of how it was for my first race. I wasn't even really expecting to race that time, or I don't know. I hadn't really considered it, being that it was a full course and everything. But everyone had been encouraging me to go ahead and just try it out. And I did, and I thought the results were pretty good, so I stuck with it. And I'm just applying that same psychology here, just testing it out, seeing what the results will be.
Awesome. Well, as an observer, your crew chief, I would say that I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting, I would anticipate. Right here we have the helmet that you ran your first couple events in. I know Mike Summers hooked us up with some new lids, some HJC helmets. You've claimed one of those as your own. It's the one with the red stripes on it. So at the coming events or when you get on your ride, you're going to be sporting that new helmet. It's a little different design. You're not going to have the lens versus you're going to be using goggles instead of a lens that you can close off. You don't have the helmet skirt that the rest of the team runs. Is there any reluctancy there, water getting inside on your face kind of thing versus the way it was? Just wondering. I would expect that don't really affect your thought process or something that you think you're going to struggle with.
I do want to get a new helmet of my own sometime later in the season. Considering the way I did my first run, though, with this helmet, or not my first run, but my first race with this helmet, with the lid cracked open, didn't really work too well for me. It just had water splashing in my eyes, but I still ran pretty well, I'd say. So I don't really consider it to be that much of a hindrance or a concern. The water coming up, I think either way, I should be able to run it all right. So.
Well, with the goggles, at least your eyes will be sealed up. I know we've been kind of experimenting. We tried tear-offs. It looked like that was going to be a pretty good idea, a good way forward. And then we realized that they were a little difficult to work with. And if you didn't get them sealed up just right, you'd actually go blind with them once you got hit in the face with water. And that's when we went to cracking the visor. And then we went from there to R&D and using a product on the lens that the water just sheds off so you can close the shield and still seal it off from mud and water and whatever debris. So we're still playing with that. Pretty interesting. But anyhow, so Talladega's coming. We really don't know anything about the course. We haven't seen any pictures, never seen the park. It's typically, when we get ready to go to an event, we know a little bit about what's going on, and we've got a week to go. And here we are talking about our setups, but we have really no idea what we're getting into. Sway versus no sway bar, this kind of thing. Now, I know you're not a whole lot in the technical side of things, which I think you should probably at least get more knowledge of, more aware of. But you are involved in the administrative side of the deal, helping with scheduling, logistics, sometimes ordering parts. And you're also involved with, along with Ashley, and we all team up on it, trying to prospect sponsorship opportunities and that kind of thing. Going forward, when it comes to the everyday kind of running of the team, I know you got your plate full, you're very busy, but have you thought about that? How the part that you play in the team, just from a management perspective, keeping everything together and marketing side, the social media side, and that kind of thing. What's your thoughts when it comes to all that side of the racing program?
What do you mean? What are my thoughts on it? How do I approach it, or how I feel about it?
No, I think it's kind of, I guess what I'm getting at, I'm wondering if you look forward, and I don't know how much you've done that, where you go, the teams, we're young and we're progressing fairly quickly. We're a standout team in the series. We're doing quite well, especially for a brand new team. So when you anticipate where we're going with this, into the season, next year, on as this thing goes, it's obviously, if it grows, it's going to take more work. If we secure some substantial sponsorship, there's a whole lot to it. It's not just slapping somebody's name on your stuff necessarily. It can move into appearances and doing show events and all these kinds of things. So I didn't know. I was just curious if you've given any of that any thought and what part you might play as things progress and grow.
I'd say I'm definitely interested in the sponsorship opportunities part of the deal. I haven't really given it too much thought, but the social media production I find interesting, and I think it'd be cool to get a type of sponsorship where we could have a themed bike or something like that. I think I have a pretty good bit to offer when it comes to that kind of stuff, just based on what I represent, what I bring to the table, and everything like that. And I just think something like that would be cool, especially if it's something I'm interested in. I don't know, Halloween themed stuff or something to do with bugs or something. I think that'd be cool.
The bug thing, like I think you and I had a conversation about your outfit would be kind of bug themed. I find it humorous because I'm thinking your helmet's got antennas on it and who knows what. I don't know that wings would be a good idea. Again, going back to your aggressiveness, we'd have to watch that because you might actually get a little more air than what we all might be thinking is a good thing. So, well, that's cool. I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking as things grow, it's really awesome because it's family. This whole deal's family. Everybody in this thing is family. So it's really cool that way. You're a key player, you might say, at the top of the food chain as it pertains to APT, which is the primary backer of what we're doing. And I know a lot of things hinge on that so far as our growth in the racing side of it. But I don't know, it's an exciting deal. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this next race. The boys will be back, Isaac and Luke. They'll be back on their bike, and they're going to be running their class, so that's going to be neat to watch. A lot of fun there. I get a lot of enjoyment as a grandfather. So Peyton will be back, running her 2 classes. Now, the other thing that's been kind of tossed around is you actually moving into the small tire NA class. Maybe you can run multiple classes. I don't know how much thought you've given to that. I know it's kind of been thrown around a little bit. I don't know. What do you think?
I'd say I'm definitely interested in running the small tire NA class. How I've been doing things, I guess, is just testing things out and seeing what the results are. If I see that I think I have good opportunities, I'm going to take them. Just like how we did the testing the other, whatever it was, couple weeks ago, running all those bikes, just testing everything out, and I got fastest time of the day, which I wasn't really expecting. But given that I did, I would say that I'm interested in running the small tire NA class if I can be competitive in it, which I think I can be. So, like I said, wherever I see I have good chances for an opportunity, I'm going to take that opportunity.
Awesome. I would think nothing less. I think if we do make the decision and you move to has-been over here, it would be a lot easier. We'll have more information, especially if you run an event. We'll have some data to help us with that decision moving forward. Once you make some runs, the clock don't lie, right? So that'll tell the tale. But if it's anything like the testing that we did out here, if that's what plays out, I think it'll be an easy decision at that point. So here we are, gang. Again, we're at SD Racing. Conversation with Fonnie Davis, one of the most amazing people I've ever known. Turns out she's a heck of a competitor, very aggressive and fast. So we're gonna wrap this up. It's been a long interview, but it's been fun. It's been enjoyable. Thank you, Fonnie.
Thank you.
Again, I know you're busy, and we all got to get our day wrapped up here. So we appreciate it, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.